Hello everyone, I hope you're having a cinematastic day. I'm Josh, this is Simply Cinema, and today we're going to be ranking all three Back to the Future movies from the least best to the best. And this is a movie franchise that sort of means a lot to me, not because I grew up watching them. I only watched them for the first time a few weeks back and got to revisit them within these past few weeks, and it was really nice to rewatch them. And just time travel movies in general mean a lot to me because I'm actually writing a novel that involves time travel, and I'll be discussing that more on the channel over time. But that's why just time travel as a concept, I love analyzing it, and this franchise sort of defined it, sort of back in the 80s, really how the time travel works and sort of ideas that bounce off of it that led to other time travel movies. But this is the franchise I'll be discussing and ranking together. Let me know down in the comments below how you would rank this franchise. Make sure to leave a comment letting me know all that, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos coming soon to you. But without further ado, let's go on to my ranking. Coming in at number 3, at last place, we have Back to the Future 3. And this isn't inherently a bad movie, especially when you look at it on its own, how it sort of has that same sort of time travel concepts, the sort of different ideas that brings it into the Western world that makes it a little more different and a little more bonkers, but at the same time connecting it to the franchise. It does feel out of place because you aren't taken into that sort of environment at all in any of the first two films. So it definitely feels out of place, but the characters still feel fun. They feel energetic. Some of the energy has died down just a tiny bit, and some of the directions feels a little mixed up and not quite the same as the first two. But still, this is a good film overall, and I can easily rewatch this. Next up, we have Back to the Future 2, and this isn't inherently a bad film either because it's still really fun. It still has some of the same energy, some of the same tropes that the first one carries, and the time travel concept sort of expands a lot more because you're going back and forth between time, and you get more environments in this one and more consequences from the actions that they take, taking the comic book and doing just sort of different things. One little particular problem that comes up from this film is when you get Biff sort of figuring out about the time machine, about how he can go back and sell the or give the comic book to his past self to predict the future. You never get an explanation of him knowing how exactly the time machine works, especially on a DeLorean. So it's sort of a little bit of a stretch of imagination that ends up becoming a flaw. But overall, if you look past that, if you look past some of the moments where the lines aren't quite as delivered as well, it still is a really solid film for its time and really works well for the franchise. But coming in at number 1, we have Back to the Future, the original, the classic, and a lot of the tropes, the setup is just really good. The world building makes sense. It seems like a concept that doesn't really work super well because Marty goes back in time and he has to fix his parents' relationship when he messes up, has to mend their relationship so they get to kiss at the Under the Sea pageant dance, and it's just really a good time. It gives you a lot of laugh, and just the blend of characters, the chemistry, everything that works, and it just ends up being a good fun time. The little problem that keeps me from calling this sort of a perfect film is some of the moments seem too coincidental, seems to collide just because it kind of needs to at certain small little moments. And also George McFly seems like too much of a wimpy character, and I know that's a strong characteristic of what they're trying to do, but sometimes it just feels out of place for him to be cowardly in every little second of the day. But overall, Back to the Future comes in at number 1. But those were just my takes on the Back to the Future films and how I would rank them from the least best to the best. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let me know your ranking. What do you think of this video? And make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. And subscribe so you don't miss any of my future vids. And of course, as always, I'll be back for more movies, rankings, and more.